Good evening, everyone. Welcome to And Academy's graphic design webinar. I am Shubhangi and I'm part of the And Branding and Communications team. Today, this webinar will be led by our course lead for graphic design, Samya. But before we dive right into the presentation, I would like to talk a little bit about what is it that And does, why do we do it, and how do we do it. And Academy is a one-of-a-kind design upskilling platform, which was launched by the Indian Institute of Art and Design, IIAD, New Delhi, which is a brick and mortar design school based in New Delhi, Okhla. IIAD actually works in collaboration with Kingston School of Art, London. And actually comes from a decade of experience in design education. And our mission at AND is to make our mission at AND is to make design education accessible, affordable, and industry relevant to enable successful career transformation. We offer professional design courses for graduates and working professionals in the domain of interior design, UX design, and graphic design, which is what we will be talking about today. So our courses are designed in a way that they cater to people coming from varied backgrounds. So you may or may not have any education or background in design, but these courses actually will take you from the very basic to developing skill in whatever chosen field that you are going with and for. They're also optimized for working and learning together. That's why our courses are part-time and the classes happen after work hours, which is usually about this time. But we also offer one full-time course in graphic design if you're wanting to pursue a full-time thing and take it up as a everyday sort of a course. So we do also offer a full-time course in graphic design. And our courses are delivered online in a live and interactive manner, which actually steer away from traditional models of learning. So we optimize for accessibility and convenience to let you learn and work together. Our courses are also stackable. So you begin from the very basic, which is a certificate course, and then you go on to go take your certificate. Then you can make a choice of going further in your journey and going for a diploma. So you add 16 more weeks to a diploma for a certificate in a certificate to a diploma. And you can further your journey by choosing to going for a PG diploma. You can also pay your fee incrementally as you go through your courses. We combine expert mentorship, practical training, and industry exposure to guide you towards a better future in the industry. As I said in the beginning, this webinar is led by our course lead for graphic design, Soumya Tiwari. So before I hand it over to her, I would like to introduce Soumya. Soumya has worked with some of the biggest production houses like Yashraj Films and Reliance Entertainment. Soumya is interested in creating bold brand identities and crafting meaningful and inclusive communication for brands. While pixel perfect with design, as an illustrator, she likes to explore the idea of imperfections and questions the ideals of beauty. She has a bachelor in communication design from Symbiosis Institute of Design and an MA in art direction from Manchester Metropolitan University. So with that, just one more thing. So there is a flow to this webinar. Soumya will sort of take you through her presentation, and we have a Q&A at the end of the session. So while Soumya is presenting, if you have any questions, I request you to put them in the Q&A box and not in the chat box, because we want to sort of answer them systematically. So to do that, I request you that you put it in the Q&A box. So yeah, with that, Soumya, I hand it over to you.
Hey, thank you, Shubhangi. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. What you see on the screen is what we're going to cover in this webinar today. We'll talk a little bit about what graphic design is, what kind of opportunities are available for a graphic designer in the industry today. We'll look at some of our beautiful student work. We'll talk about the courses at hand and what we offer. And then towards the end of the webinar, we break for questions like Shubhangi just mentioned. Okay, so to begin with, I think there's a common misconception in the industry where people equate design to software learning. So I want to start this webinar by addressing that design is greater than software. If you think graphic design is learning Photoshop or learning Illustrator or Procreate or whatever other tool, it is much more than that. These softwares will just become a tool for you to execute your ideas. It's almost like what Microsoft Word can do for a writer. It cannot teach you how to write, it can only help you to type. Okay, so software does not enable you to think. Design learning and training in design enables you to think of ideas. Softwares will help you execute your ideas. All right. And then also from an outsider's perspective, I think design looks like a very glamorous job where designers are responsible for making things look pretty or aesthetically pleasing or good to look at. Yes, that is a part of our job. That is one of the hats that we wear as a designer. But there's a lot more to it as well. So, what does a designer really do? So, a designer is a researcher. You have to research and read up, inquire about a lot of things. So, say, for example, the brand that you're working for, if it's a skincare brand or a food brand or a restaurant, you have to research or study about that area a little bit, right? Understand what kind of other brands exist, what your audience is going to be. So, a designer wears the hat of a researcher. Then, a designer is also a planner. We have to keep up with very, very tight deadlines as a designer. If you're especially looking to freelance or work independently, then you also have to plan your finances, right? So, budgeting, time management, breaking down your project into steps and then planning them out is also a part of a designer, a hat that designers wear. Designers are thinkers. A training in design helps you think a lot, think creatively, so think wide, and think critically. So if you speak to designers, you'll end up, thinking and rethinking ideas, looking for pros and cons of your thoughts. So a training in design makes you wear the hat of a thinker as well, sometimes an overthinker as well, where you end up overthinking every small decision based on the pros and cons. Then, obviously, the obvious part and the fun part of it is you're the creator, right? So you create, you make your designs, and you're a learner. As a designer, you have to constantly keep learning and upgrading your skills. So, be it, training yourself to use AI, a new update on software, learning about a new brand, target audience, or a new concept, even. So, the more you learn as a designer, the better or stronger you become. Okay, so graphic design is essentially planning and communicating ideas, experiences, and messages through visuals. So it is not just creating pretty visuals, it is not just learning to use the software, it is planning and then through a lot of thinking and research, communicating ideas, experiences, and messages through the means of visuals. Moving on, what are some of the opportunities available for designers in the industry today? In today's time, with a rise in the business culture in the country or even worldwide, with a lot of startups emerging, a lot of businesses emerging, the role of graphic designers, has become essential to today's time. So as a designer, you could work at, specialize in brand identity design, where you create visual identities, commonly known as logo design. So you could be doing that either independently or with a design studio or agency. You could be a part of somebody's a brand's brand communication team. You could be working with an agency to create communications for their clients. Brand communications basically entails crafting messages for brands. So if you look at social media, advertising, newsletters, flyers, emailers, all of those things come under brand communication, how a brand speaks to their audience. You could specialize in social media or digital design, where you design just specifically for digital spaces, working on social media campaigns, designing posts, videos. Again, a growing media in today's time, so you will constantly need to upskill yourself and keep up with the changing technology and times. You could work with advertising agencies as a part of a larger team to create campaign design for brands. Campaign design basically covers a more 360-degree kind of an approach, where you look at physical advertising, advertising in the digital spaces. You think a little bit about strategy as well. So a more holistic view of how a brand communicates to their audience and positions themselves. As opposed to digital design, because there is a rise in digital media, there is also a lot of innovation today happening in the space of print and publication. So you could also specialize as a print and publication designer. Maybe design and create your own books, probably self-publish if that is what you want to do, or work with a publication house. Finally, you could also work as a motion graphics designer. Again, you will be a part of either of these teams, but in today's time, with the rise in moving media, in the technology that we're using in the world around us, the scope for motion graphics has also increased in the industry. So these are some of the places where you could start off working your work as a designer. But then essentially, like to sum it up, graphic design is really a versatile role, where currently, to give you an example, I'm using my design learning to design curriculum, right? So once you become a designer, you can train yourself to do a lot of other things, combine it with a lot of your other interests as well, right? So again, to sum it up, everybody in today's time needs a graphic designer. So the possibilities for you are literally endless. All right, so that's a little overview of what graphic design is, what the opportunities are in the industry. Now let's come back to and let's start our journey by looking at some of our beautiful student work. What I'm going to begin with is showing you some projects undertaken by our part-time students. This is a project done by Yukta. What you're seeing on my screen right now is a Miro board. It's essentially an infinite board, and it enables us to collaborate with each other in an online space. So in case you were wondering, how we teach online and how we teach a collaborative subject like design online, Miro is one such tool that enables us to do it. You can see all her work, all her ideas develop on this single board. Okay, so this is a project, the first project that she has undertaken as a part of her course during module 1. She's creating a type-based poster. So her brief is to use only typography to create a poster for a jazz music concert. So we make our students, our training involves being able to think from scratch, think of unique ideas from scratch, and think of ideas that are relevant to your context. So she's done a little bit of research. She's found out what kind of a mood or feel she wants her poster to have. She's identified some keywords. Um, she started to think of these original ideas, draw on paper. Moving on, she's developing her idea by digitizing it on Illustrator. Now she's researched a little bit and found out what kind of a color scheme will work for the keywords that she had sort of identified. Then she's applying those color schemes to her design, again trying out many different ideas. So this is how we are able to develop your creative thinking as well, and we teach you the process of design. So yeah, if you can see, there's one idea and many variations that Yukta has created for it. She's again moved back to another idea, but then she realized that this was a little away from the brief. She was not allowed to use visuals, just typography. So she's moved back and then chosen this as her final poster. So again, if you see, to create one single poster, she's gone through this entire process of generating ideas and developing them step by step. Okay, the next project is called Design for Digital Media. And this is a project by Harshita. It's the second project that happens as a part of the part-time course. Here a student learns to understand how to grasp the visual language of a brand and then extend it further to create communication for them online. So again, if you see, we're starting with a little bit of research where Harshita is doing a research about the brand Slurp Farm, which was chosen by her. So she's looking at the mood, tone of voice, who's the target audience, what kind of a color palette are they using, what kind of designs or visuals are they using. So again, starting with research and understanding brand, pulling out a color palette, deciding on what kind of fonts will match the brand language. And again, if you see, she started with a lot of sketching on paper where she's thinking of a lot of different ideas. So this is the first post that she made. And then if you see, she's also written a concept note. Even though it is just a post, there's a lot of thinking that has gone behind designing it so that it stays relevant and useful for the brand that she is working for. Again, this is the second carousel post, which is a larger deliverable that she's working on. And again, she started with the same process, sketching, developing the idea, and then finally arriving at the final design. And again, she's given a reasoning for it. So it's not random decisions where she's just created something. She has thought through every little detail while creating this social media post. Now this is a brochure design or publication design project by our student Shreya. This is also a part of the certificate level part-time course, to give you an idea. Now here our students start to learn the technicalities of designing for print. So if somebody holds your brochure, will they be able to read it? Where will they hold it? How much space is the hand going to occupy? How to design for print? So how is a printer going to print it? What kind of printing method are they going to use? How am I going to set my text so that it stays readable and easy to read for my audience? Here what she's doing is she's taken Sanchi Stupa as her subject and she's created a little brochure for it. So if you see, all her sketches, all her illustrations are inspired again by the language of Sanchi Stupa. The colors are also extracted from there. She's learning now how to combine images and long format of text for it to stay visually appealing as well as relevant to Sanchi Stupa and the language of the monument. And then these were a few projects, portfolio projects. We believe in practicing a lot. So we design the most time you spend on practicing it, the better your projects are going to become. So if you look at any of our courses, you will see that we make you do a lot of practice tasks before you attempt a project. So it gives you a little bit of confidence of application of a particular theory. Here, I have an example of a palette generation task done as a part of color studies, again done by a part-time student. Here she's again looking at the color wheel. She's learning how to combine and merge colors or mix colors manually, and then again create an original palette from it. So she's learning about contrast, she's learning about how to pair colors, right? And then she's tried to create these compositions to see if her palette works well or not. Yeah, so these are these are the kind of practice tasks you will be taking up as a part of either of our courses. Moving on, I will now take you through some of the work of our full-time courses. What I'm showing you is also attempted as a part of the part-time course, but then it is just done at a slightly lower level, right? With a full-time course, because you spend a lot more time working on the project, you attempt it at a deeper level or a deeper level of understanding of theory. So this is a project by Smriti, and what she's done is she's taken Ruh Afza as her parent brand, and she's thought that if Ruh Afza today launches a kiosk to connect with the urban audience to sell drinks made by mixing Ruh Afza, what can their brand identity be? So again, she started with an extensive study of the brand Ruh Afza first. She's understood her target audience. She's answering these questions like, what is Ruh Afza creating? Where will these kiosks be located? Why are they even doing this? So what's the point of doing this, right? What's the rationale behind it? How will they do it? What is their mission or vision? What will be their core values? What will be the personality of the brand? Again, this is a part of studying the customer, then creating customer personas, that these are the sample customers that my brand can have. And then again, she started with a lot of ideas, generating a lot of different ideas to see what works. She's also thought of possible brand names and taglines. So we're not just making you do logo design, but we're going beyond that, which is why we call it brand identity design. You're creating a wholesome identity for a brand. So she's thought of these patterns that can be used, these stamps and marks that can be used. This is the logo that she's come up with. Again, a rationale behind it. There's a primary and a secondary logo in case they need to use variations of it. There are marks and sub-marks that can be used by the brand. There's a color palette. She's given instructions on how to use the color palette, what to do, what not to do, what fonts to use, what kind of patterns can be used by the brand. And then finally, to give you a feel of what the brand will look like, she's created some application of her identity as well. So it's brand identity beyond logo design, really. Now, this is a brand narrative project attempted by Chandni. This is a part of the second term of the full-time course. Now, again, she's taken a brand, studied it, And what she's doing now, right now, so far in the project is understanding the brand, mission, target audience, problem, what is the problem, and what is the solution she's offering to it. Again, if you see, there's a long process that has gone behind it, analyzing the target audience, analyzing what kind of visual elements to use, competitors, and what are they doing on social media. What are they doing on different kinds of platforms? So, what are they doing on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn? What kind of message are they trying to deliver? What kind of photographs is the brand going to use? So, if you see, again, it's a very step by step, a very thought through project. And then this is the final narrative that she's come up with. I'm going to quickly scroll through it and then play one video maybe that you can look at. So what you see on the screen is conceptualized from the beginning to the very end. So what is the brand going to say in words? How is it going to be animated through motion? What kind of image? All of that is created by and thought by Chandni. Then moving on to motion graphics, which I know appeals a lot of people. This is a work by our student Fame, again, a part of the full-time course. And if you see again, the brief given to them was to create a 15-second introductory video for a film of their choice. So this is the film Fame has selected. Again, she's gone back, watched the film, made her notes about the film, thought about what were the key visuals from the film that can be added to her video, created a storyboard, created these illustrations from scratch because Fame came from an illustration background. She's taken the project in an illustration zone to explore her own interests. And this is the final video that she created. Right, so a 15-second motion graphic, but then Fame has attempted to do this in 2 weeks. So a lot of execution has gone behind this. Okay, and this is the final concluding project of the full-time course. It's called Campaign Design, where again, they look at a more 360-degree holistic view for a brand. Here, the parent brand assigned to Fame was Pepsi, and her objective was to make Pepsi, appeal to the Gen Z or Gen Alpha audience. So she's again found articles that speak about, what the Gen Z wants, what kind of things are they looking at. So she found Gen Z to be the dynamic and fearless generation, and her entire campaign was then based around that. So her campaign strategy was to pop the cap, right? So pop the cap on Pepsi. She's given us a rationale, created an animation for it as well. Thought about activation. So if they were doing the campaign, how would they launch the campaign? How would they activate the campaign? So again, what would they be doing on a digital space or a digital platform, right? These kind of posts or interactions could happen on their website and social media. Then what would happen, on ground? So these are some of the posters that she's created for physical space. What would they do with their packaging? And if she's talking about pop the cap, what would be the message behind the cap once one interacts with it? What would a stage look like as a part of their event? And then she's also come up with an idea for a 3D billboard right? Because technology today enables you to do this. So this is how she's shown her use of a new technology and how she could use it for Pepsi. So it would show a 3D popping cap visual on a big billboard, so people would see it in that 3D manner. So this is where the full-time course concludes. Now, this is just to give you an idea of the kind of projects our students take up, right? I've not given you the entire picture of any one of the courses. Coming back to this is our intention. This is what we try to do slightly differently, or this is what we think our USP is. We teach design beyond software. So we don't just teach you software. We make you go beyond that. We make you learn the theory, and we focus on how you can apply that theory into your practice as well. So we start from the very fundamentals or the very basics. So anybody who does not have a background in design can join us and learn from scratch. Our courses are very hands-on. Like I mentioned before, we make you practice a lot. So you learn by doing. All our classes happen through live sessions. So we're not a pre-recorded course model. Because we function online, we're able to get a lot of different industry practitioners as mentors. If you go up on our website, you will be able to see the different people that we work with. Because our classes are live again, you get to interact with mentors as well as your peers. So you learn together and not in isolation on your own. You get feedback on your work and improve. So we don't leave you hanging. We don't just tell you to attempt a project. We guide you and help you build it. Our courses are stackable. I will get to this in a minute on the next slide. And as a part of our course, we also offer career development and placement support. Okay, now coming to the structure of our courses, we have a full-time course, which is a PG diploma course. It's a 36-week long course. It comes with a placement guarantee. This, like I mentioned, is a full-time course where classes happen during the day. So class timing usually stays 2 to 5 p.m. Classes happen 5 days a week, so Monday to Friday. Full-time, very demanding, immersive course. Then we have a part-time course in graphic design as well, which comes with the stackability feature. So you can do the first 16 weeks to do the certificate in graphic design. This comes with the placement support. The certification level of the course does not make you industry ready. It can make you internship ready, right? It teaches you only the very basics of graphic design. Then if you go further and do 16 more weeks of the course, you get a diploma in graphic design. Here, you do become industry ready and we offer you placement support. If you do 16 more weeks, you get a PG diploma in graphic design. And our PG diploma courses come with placement guarantees. So the part-time course classes happen late in the evenings from 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. And classes happen twice a week, so Mondays and Thursdays. Okay, I'm going to leave this on the screen for just a minute before we move ahead. Okay. And with the stackability feature, what you can also do is you can probably do the certificate in graphic design for 16 weeks and then move into either the graphic design diploma and PG diploma, or you can move to UI design. If you continue to study UI with us for 20 more weeks, you get a diploma in UI design. And then you can also do a PG diploma in UX and UI design, which again comes with a job guarantee. So these are some of the pathways that you can take after you do the certification course and learn basics of visual design. Okay, with that, we come to the very end of our webinar. I'm going to leave this information in front of you. This is the Stackability part-time course, these three offerings that you see on the screen. This is the full-time course and schedule for both the courses along with their fee. And now if you have any questions, you can start to put them in the Q&A and we'll start taking your questions now.
Thank you for your presentation, Samya. We already have questions rolling in. So meanwhile, we answer these questions. I would request the audience that if you have any more questions, just put them in the Q&A box. So Samya, first question, somebody is asking, what is the difference between a PG diploma part-time and full-time?
Okay, so like I mentioned before, curriculum-wise, if you look at the topics taught, there won't be much difference, right? But with respect to the depth of your learning, the depth with the full-time course will obviously be much higher or much deeper, right? And because the full-time course, you spend more time, we do give, we do some additional workshops for our full-time course as well, where we do things like placement support, professional development, where you learn how to present your work, speak, reach out to people, put up your work on social media, things like those. You learn comic making. So some more interesting things that are built into your curriculum can be accessed on the website as well.
Yeah. So moving on to the next question. Somebody is asking, can you also show projects made during the certificate course by students?
Yes, I think we've already done that. The first 3 projects you saw were all done as a part of the certificate course.
Preeti has another question. Will certificate course help me find a job?
So Preeti, I think I also mentioned this during the webinar, but the certificate course does not really aim at, helping you find a job. It'll only give you a basic understanding of graphic design, okay? So it's a stepping stone to do other things, really. You can probably get an internship after that, but a job, I don't think so.
Shwetanjali is asking, what all software are we going to learn the full-time and part-time course?
Okay, so this is a long list of things. I think it'll be better if you access this on our website. The website talks about this in a lot of detail.
Let me do one thing and put the website link in the chat for everyone to access so that people can go through our curriculum and our fee and our software list in much detail.
I just read that this is the software list that this person has asked. So as a part of the software training, you learn Adobe Illustrator, InDesign, After Effects, and Photoshop. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody is asking, can I progress from certificate course to a full-time PG diploma course directly?
No, you cannot.
No skipping stones here. You must take the full route, which is a certificate, a diploma, and then a PG diploma. What are the, okay, this we've already covered. What are the softwares taught in the certificate and diploma course? Samya, do you want to talk about the software track that is available for all students?
Right. So our software sessions happen as optional classes. So they will happen in addition to these classes that I've spoken about, right? There's a lot of people who come to our course who already learn software. Software is something that you can learn on your own as well. A lot of people learn it through watching videos on YouTube. So if you are really looking at learning just software, I don't think you need to invest this money. Just go on YouTube, type how to learn Illustrator, and you'll get thousands of videos, and you'll be able to do that really.
Yeah. So yeah, if we have any more questions, the floor is still open. Do we not have any more questions? Wow, this is a first. Okay, meanwhile, we're getting more questions. I would like to talk about our upcoming masterclass that is happening on 13th of March, which is a great way to just, talk about design and to just like see what other people in the design community are doing. So I've put the registration link for a masterclass in everybody's chat if you just want to join this one. It is going to be a super interesting one where we talk about music and design. Um, it is from a communication designer who's actually created a book about music, who's designed a book about music. So it's going to be a very interesting one. So if you're wanting to join some interesting master classes, this is the one to be at. Okay, we have more questions. Somebody's asking, are there any offline classes available? No, I think I covered that in the beginning. We do not have any other offline classes. All of our courses are delivered online. So yeah. By doing a PG diploma full time, will it help me to pursue further deeper study, bachelor's or any other pathway? Samir, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, sure. I think, yeah, you can do either, start to directly work after a PG diploma, or if you do not have a bachelor's already, then you can, go and pursue your further studies. For sure, it'll build a nice foundation for you in that case. But then for people who do not have a graduation, please know that it is a postgraduate diploma, so you will not get that certification. You will just end up with a diploma anyway.
Okay. Somebody's asked, just wanted to know about the academy. Why did you all start this? How many students have you all taught right till now? Okay, this is a very interesting question. So, and Academy is actually the brainchild of IAAD. Dr. Jitin Chadha, who's also the CEO and founder of and IAAD. And during COVID, IAAD was sort of forced to go into an online mode of learning. And because design has always been one of those fields which have been taught offline, the COVID pandemic really forced the IAD academic team and the management team to really figure out ways so that the students' learning wasn't hampered by the pandemic. And then we figured out that this is something that can be done. So out of that pandemic, the what came as a result of it was because we figured that there was a system in which we could deliver design education online through support of various tech developments, because we use Miro, which is a collaboration software like a whiteboard, and the learning management system that we work with. We figured there is a way to deliver a very tangible or like a tactile subject like design online, and that is how and was born, and that is why we started this. How many students have we taught till now? So we've had 550 plus enrollment. This would be batch 7 if I remember correctly. So yeah, we've taught like 7 batches after pandemic, and we've had like 550 plus learners enroll with us. So I hope that answers your question. Somebody is asking how tools like Midjourney can be used in graphic design, are used in the field of graphic design at present.
Okay, so again, Midjourney becomes a tool of execution of ideas for graphic designers. You'll see a lot of designers creating beautiful 3D renderings using Midjourney, which is otherwise a very, very tedious job to do, right? It takes hours and hours and hours to execute something like that. And Midjourney literally does it in seconds. So the designer really envisions the graphic and the Midjourney creates it for them, which is very interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have any more questions? Yeah. Is a subscription of Adobe software provided in any of the levels of study? No, we do not provide any of the softwares. That would have to be managed by you. Somebody is saying, please upload this webinar on YouTube. So you will get a recording in your inbox tomorrow. So yeah, you can access it there. Okay, cool. I guess we do not have any more questions. Okay, wow, we're well ahead. Cool. Okay, thank you everyone for joining our webinar today. Thank you, Soumya, for your presentation. I always enjoy student work. That's my favorite part of AND. Thank you everyone who's taken out time to be here and joining for this webinar. I hope you were able to learn something. And if you are wanting, if you are trying to get into the field of graphic design, this is, you think this is something that you want to pursue, our batches are starting on 22nd of March. So this is the right time to be applying for such a course. If you haven't already, please get in touch with your course advisors and they will take it from there. So yeah, that's about it. Okay, we have a question. Can we opt for diploma in UI UX after certification course? What is the difference between diploma in UI and diploma in UI UX? Just before Soumya takes over, I want to answer. I want to say that we have a UX UI webinar coming up today. So that would be a great way for you to learn about the UI UX courses. But yeah, Soumya, go on.
Okay, so yes, us doing a certification in graphic design will be a great stepping stone to doing a diploma in UI or UX. UI basically talks about what you see on the screen, how the website is created, how the pages are linked, and UX talks about how the experience is going to be for a user. So UI deals with the interface and UX deals with the experience of the user. So that's the difference. They're very connected to each other. But yeah, like Shubhangi mentioned, attend the UX UI webinar if that is an area of interest for you.
Yep. Yeah, okay, I guess we've answered all the questions. Thank you for joining, everybody. Thank you, Soumya. And oh my God, okay, we have another question. Why is there no option to opt for diploma UI UX after the certification course?
Right. So that's because you learn the concepts of UX, which are harder to learn after you learn the concepts of UI. That's how our course has been built, right? So for that reason, you don't have a direct diploma in UX and UI. But if you feel like that is something you want to do, you will have to check out the UX UI trajectory separately or enroll in the UX course separately. Like that's also an option. Right.
Let's just wait for some more questions to come in before we close.
Stop my screen share too soon.
Now we don't have any more questions. Okay. Okay, let's wait till 8:22, then we'll close. Cool. I guess we do not have any more questions. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you, Shubhangi.
Bye.
Bye.
We do
Okay.
have another
Another question. Right.
um, how is placement support different from placement guarantee? Okay. So placement support is where, as Samya has already mentioned, there are some different modules already built into the curriculum where we make you industry ready. So as soon as you finish the course, you can just like hit the ground running. You can join a studio, you can start your own practice, you can work you can freelance, you can do from X number of options. But with placement guarantee, because we have so much trust in the kind of curriculum that we're offering, it's so robust that we offer a placement guarantee that within 6 months of you completing the course, you will get placed for sure. We have a very strong career services team working with us who will send the opportunities your way. There is a small caveat to it though. You can only avail the placement guarantee if you have met the minimum required. You're eligible for that guarantee, which is you have done your bit, which is come to classes, submit a portfolio, be present, and all of that. So yeah, that is the difference between a placement support and placement guarantee. Samya, if I've missed something, please feel free to add.
No, I think that answers it. Yeah.
I'm gonna wait.
Say bye, we'll get a question.
Okay, bye guys. Okay, cool. Thank you everyone for sticking around. Bye. Good night.
Good night, Shubhangi. Thank
Good
you.
night. Thank you.